Watch me take it up, then I break it down. I don't play sports, but it's a
Hi, my name is Christina Lynn. My business is Lynn Financial. I love to talk about money because I believe that financial savviness is a skill that you can master. What I want to talk to you today about is whether or not you should consolidate your student loans. So let's look at the advantages and disadvantages to consolidating your student loans. The first benefit of consolidating your student loans would be to reduce the amount that you're paying each month on your student loans. So now instead of paying multiple different ones, you're just going to be paying one, and hopefully in total that's smaller. That's going to help you with your budget. Hopefully it will be more convenient for you to work in and fit everything into your monthly budget with that lower amount. Advantage number two, it could potentially save interest for you. This is not a guarantee, so you need to really make sure that that part of it makes sense, but hopefully you would save some money on the interest costs. And number three, and what I see probably is the most alluring to people, is the convenience factor. Rather than paying separate times throughout the month, different amounts, different companies, now it's just going to be one seamless payment that you're going to make a fixed amount. And if you need to contact somebody to make a change, you're just going to have one phone call that you need to call rather than 3, 4, however many. All right, you knew this was coming. Now we're going to talk about the disadvantages. All right, so the disadvantage number one for consolidating your student loans is that you are rolling up these loans into a new loan, and so that is drawing out the payment period. So you're starting that amortization process over from the beginning, which means that you're paying in comparison, you're paying a lot more in interest at the beginning with a little bit of principal mixed in. And then over time, it starts to go like that, where you're paying less interest and more principal, but that's towards the end of the loan. So you're starting that cycle over rather than being in year 5 of paying your student loans. Now you're starting back in year 1 and drawing it out. And that's how they make that monthly payment smaller. So make sure that you understand the time period that you're agreeing to in your new contract. And disadvantage number 2 is the interest rate. You look really hard at the interest rate that they're offering as a consolidated rate, because it may not be lower than what you're currently paying for. And disadvantage number 3 is a full sense of an expanded budget. So because you consolidated your debts and possibly have a lower monthly payment, or at least it feels like you have a little bit of extra money in your account because now you're only paying one time a month than 2, 3, 4 times a month, you might see a little bit of extra cash in your account that you're not used to. And so that might give you the full sense of security to go spend that money when really you need to be keeping it in there for a larger payment at the end of the month. And so if you feel like you have an overspending problem, the debt consolidation, the student loan consolidation might just feed into that problem that you're experiencing by giving you a little bit of extra cash to go spend. And it may make the problem worse, actually. I'm going to leave you with 5 tips on things that you should be thinking about if you are considering consolidating your student loans. The first tip is to check your credit report. It's one of those things that's not very fun, but you can get one for free. You can ask somebody like a smart friend to help you read it if you're overwhelmed and intimidated by doing it yourself. But really, this is one of those things that you really should check into, because you need to know what kind of skeletons are in your credit report closet. It's going to give you that knowledge to make an informed decision on how to proceed with your student loans. You might even have, I've known people that had student loans that they discovered on their credit report that they weren't even aware of. And so you really need to know exactly what is going on in the background of your credit report in order for you to make an informed decision whether or not you should consolidate and maybe what criteria need to be met in order for you to agree to do so. My second tip is to become best buds with your lender. I was just helping a woman who frequently paid late to her debts, but she was the most friendly person and was always calling in saying like, "Hey, I had a tight month," or this freelancing gig didn't, the check is on the way. Can you postpone my payment? That she was just very proactive about reaching out and communicating with the lender about, you know, payments that were not on time or maybe not in full. And I was helping her with her credit report, and she didn't show any late payments. So because she was so proactive with the lenders, they weren't dinging her credit report. They weren't sending any negative information to the credit bureaus. I'm not guaranteeing that that will happen for you, but it sure seemed to work for her. And so it doesn't cost you anything to be really proactive and reach out to the lenders. It just costs you your time. But if you're in a season of life where the payments aren't being made every month, I would think it would be worth your effort to really be proactive about communicating with them. And my tip number 3 is to prioritize your debts. If you're having trouble with making payments to everything, and that's why you're thinking about consolidating your student loans, on your credit report, look at the most important debts and make sure that you're always paying those first. And any late payments or missed payments, you are allocating to the not so important loans. So the ones that should receive priority, that you pay every month on time, are your mortgage and your student loans. And then any unsecured loans, don't put those on the back burner, but they definitely go like lower on the totem pole than the student loans and the mortgage, because those two will really affect your credit, and are just harder to take care of than the unsecured debt like credit cards. My tip number 4 is to seek professional help so that you can make an informed decision. I think that with these kinds of topics, people get overwhelmed and they just don't know the right decision to make. Are they making a rash decision? Are they missing some important information that they're not aware of? And so you can get financial counseling help for next to nothing or free. Just look at the nonprofit organizations in your community. Reach out to them to see if they can help you process this decision and make the best choice for your situation. And my 5th and final tip is to do your consolidating on the government website, the studentloan.gov website. Don't go through a third party, or at least not to start with. See if you qualify for the consolidation that the government offers, because that is going to be your best deal. I don't think there's anything better on the market than what the government is offering for debt consolidation, so I would definitely start there first. And then if you're really wanting to do it but that you don't qualify for that, then go look at other options. But I wish you the absolute best. Good luck with your decision on your student loan, and keep your chin up because you are an overcomer.
Go and check my closet, never sure to go up. Could go and check my wallet.